bless you, everybody. Welcome. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Great to have you here. It's really going to be a nice time today. Let me just tell you a couple things before we get started. Because this is a webinar format. So just to make it kind of easier is that you're going to see me. You're going to see me most of the time. We might change it if we do this again a little bit. But you can use the chat, and then you can type into the chat, say hello, all of that stuff, and you can send it to all of the attendees and to me. Also, we will do a question and answer at the end. I'm going to ask you a few things. We're going to start a little bit of a discussion, for the last section of what we're going to do. Okay? All right, so it's great to have you here. Most of you know who I am, but let me just say it for people that don't know, that might be watching this on the replay or something like that. My name is Max Ryan. I am a spiritual teacher. I'm a law of attraction trainer. I'm also an intuitive, and it's great to have you here. I've been doing this work for many, many, many years, and obviously we're living in very, very different times, and we are being asked some very, very, very deep things right now. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I have been guiding people, I have been helping people, I have been helped myself by many, many teachers, and I felt very strongly that it was important for me to come and gather you together. Even though I'm doing it a lot on other platforms, I just wanted to do something on a Sunday afternoon where we can all come together. I'm just calling this for right now finding peace in confusing times, because it can be very confusing. We'll talk more about that later, but it's great to have you here. If you want to know more about me, if you don't know, you can go to attractpositiveresults.com. That's my website, or you can go to my YouTube, or all of those things. Yeah. So this is how it's going to work today. We're going to meditate first. We're all going to do a group meditation. I'll have a timer. We'll have some music on. We're going to do about 5 minutes. And then I will speak to a few things. I have so many notes, so many things. And then when we're done with that, then we'll open it up to questions and answers, and we can share what our experience is. Okay, everybody? All right, let me just look in the chat. Somebody just put something. Steph, heels. Steph says heels. Good. Heels. Great. All right. Good. Everything heals. Heals the heels. Well, good. Let me just make sure I got to look. Let's see. Great, great, great. Okay, it's good to see you, everybody. All right, so everyone take a big deep breath. We're going to sit quietly for 5 minutes. Now, I opened my Course in Miracles, and most of you know, but if you're watching this on the replay, I have been a teacher and a student of A Course in Miracles for 38 years. So I kind of know this book a little bit, and it's teaching and it's training. And I opened it up today, and this is the first thing that I read. And I want to read this to you, and then we're going to sit for 5 minutes. Okay? All right, so take a few deep breaths. Good. I'm just going to read it. Close your eyes, and then as soon as we're done, we'll start the timer, and we'll sit for 5 minutes. Here we go, with your eyes closed. Child of God, you were created to create the good, the beautiful, and the holy. Do not forget this. The love of God for a little while must still be expressed through one body to another, because vision is still so dim. You can use your body best to help you to enlarge your perception so you can achieve real vision, of which the physical eye is incapable. Learning to do this is the body's true usefulness. Take a few deep breaths. We're just going to sit quietly. Here we go. We're just taking this time to let everything go that came before this moment and doing our best to let everything go that might come after this moment. Take a deep breath. Just following your breath. When your mind begins to wander, just allow yourself to come back to your breath. That is all. The breath is your touch point that brings you back. So just always come back to your breath. Child of God, you were created to create the good, the beautiful, and the holy. Do not forget this. The love of God for a little while must still be expressed through one body to another, because vision is still so dim. You can use your body best to help you enlarge your perception so you can achieve real vision, of which the physical eye is incapable. Learning to do this is the body's only true usefulness. Take a deep breath. Okay, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, everybody. So it's great to have you here. I've got a lot of notes here, and wasn't exactly sure what we were going to talk about today. But I want to start with this. The first thing that came to me, I believe really strongly in intuition and being guided, right? Is that during this time, that is really important. And I was like, I want to do a gathering. I'm not sure what it should be. And then immediately it was like finding peace in confusing times. Okay, so let's talk about this idea about finding peace in confusing times. Let's take the second half first. In confusing times, right? So you'll notice that I refer and reference A Course in Miracles quite often because this is what my main teaching is, right? Very good. Thank you, Autumn. So confusing times. Let's talk about confusing times. The first thing that comes up for me is knowing that there is an illusory world and then there's a real world. Now, the illusory world is happening in the 3D. It's just that our perception is not allowing us, which references the quote actually a little bit. Our perception of the illusory world is that we're seeing all these things that we need to control. We're seeing all these things that on some level we believe, our egoic mind believes, we need to fix, we need to change. And right now, this is definitely coming up because we need to heal that virus. We need to get back to work. We need to make sure that everyone's safe. We need to not get the virus. All of these things are completely fine. But let's look at the confusing part, right? The confusing part. From the Course in Miracles, Jesus says that confusion is of the ego. Confusion is of the ego. So when you are confused, it's like the old song. Should I stay or should I go now? And that whole feeling, maybe I should stay, maybe I should go. Maybe I should stay in, maybe I should go outside. Maybe I should act, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should call that person, maybe I shouldn't call that person. Whatever happens to be. Just from that explanation I just gave you is that that's the world of duality. Now, the world of non-duality states that only love is real. Only love is real. So the egoic mind wants to keep you in duality over and over and over and over and over and over, right? So the egoic mind is going to do everything to keep you in this place of, this is where people get analysis paralysis, because they overthink, they overanalyze, they overwatch the news, they overwatch everything, they overdo everything on some level. It's not anyone's fault. All of us here are guilty of it on some level, right? So really, if you're confused, it is a sure sign that you are following the egoic mind and not the truth of spirit. So that's the second part, confusing times. First of all, it's times. And from the macro point of view, And the truth, there is no time. There is no time. There's only when? There's only the present moment. There's only the present moment, because if you really start to think what is confusing you, or what's giving you agita, or what's making you anxiety or depressed or fearful or whatever, it's always something that you're projecting into the future or you're regretting from the past. It's very simple, very simple. So time, confusing times, time isn't even real. The only thing that's real is this moment right now. That's it, right? So confusing times is the egoic mind is going to try to keep you in that, we got to figure it out, we got to beat it, there's nothing, hear me very clearly, there is nothing wrong with doing what we need to do to take care of everyone that's sick. That's huge. That's huge. But from the big picture, we want to look at it from a perspective that we might not be able to see right now. And that perspective is not confusing at all. Because the first part of the title is finding peace. Finding peace in confusing times. Finding peace is always an inside job. And I'm well aware that a lot of stuff that you're going to hear me say today, you've heard it before, but we are in a very unique situation, the whole of humanity and the human race right now. Because you might have heard it, you might have seen it, but right now, a lot of these things are bearing fruit. So you don't need to look outside for your peace. I'm going to say something that might challenge you, but I just need to. If we're living in a place we're waiting until there's a cure for the virus, or if we're living in a place where we are waiting to be able to go out again, or if we're living in a place when things will be different than what they are, that is the egoic mind. That is the egoic mind. Because there is it's from the Course in Miracles would say, it is the journey without distance. You don't need to find peace. It is already right here. Take a deep breath with me. It is already right here. And I know that's very difficult sometimes, because you're looking at real stories that are happening. People are dying. Things are happening that are very, very sad, and they're horrible. But the truth is, your peace is in the midst of in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the insanity, in the midst of all of that. Your peace is already here. Now, I'm not here. Listen, you can turn on any social media that you want to, and you can find 50 million people giving their ideas about what this all means and what's the lesson, and this is what we need to learn and all this other stuff. It's fine. We all have a right to do that. I do not feel, as a spiritual teacher, it's my job to tell you what the lesson is. Because the lesson, if there is a lesson, let's just say that, if there is a lesson, you already know it. And you might not know it here, but you know it. Just the exact same way that the peace is already here. It's nowhere else other than where you are. It's just exactly like this. There is nowhere where God is not, whatever your perception of God is. There is nowhere where God is not. So there's nowhere where peace is not. And so if we are trying to get there, we're trying to heal the situation because something's wrong, We're trying to change the situation because something's wrong. You have to hear me very clearly here, everyone. If that's what we're doing, we have to, whoa, pull back, stop. What am I doing? Because if you believe that there is nowhere where God, peace, love, joy, grace is not, then having the belief that once this is over, then we'll find God, then that's not your real belief. So like I said, I'm not here to tell you what the lesson is because you will get it. You are getting it. I know you're getting whatever it happens to be for you, not for me. But I just want to look at just one thing, and it's very practical. This is one thing I want to say to you. I would like you to start to use the word practical very much right now. It's practical. There is a macro life that you're living, which is your true self, and then there's a micro life that you're living, which is in the illusion. And in the illusion, it's very practical to say, I'm going to wear a mask. It's very practical to say, I'm going to wear gloves. It's very practical to stay in your home. That's practical. So use practicality instead of fear. Yesterday in my class, we were talking about this, and I said, listen, why don't we change this? There's so much worry right now, so much fear, so much anxiety. So why don't we change the word worry to the word care? I'm worried for my mother who's 80. Why don't you say, I am caring for my mother who's 80, not worried. Because worry immediately puts in this perspective of, oh, you know what? Something's going to happen and it's horrible. And just be practical. I love my mother. I care about my mother. Right now, I am dealing with this right now because my father is 84 and he's alone, and I'm doing all practically that we can, that I can, that my family can, to make sure he's safe. We're being practical. And when you're practical, you can back up a little bit. So you're not caught in that acting from fear, acting from anxiety, acting from depression, acting from the future. What if, what if, what if, what if, what if, right? So make sure in this time that you're more practical. So that's a very logical thing we can do in this moment. Be more practical. The second thing I want to say, and this is just, like I said, this is situational, and this is what I see. For many, many, many years, I have been teaching students. And one of the things that I teach students over and over and over and over and over is 3 steps. The first step is sit down. Listen, write it down. This is the answer to everything. First is sit down. Number 2 is shut up. Sometimes I say shut the F up. Number 1 is sit down. Sit down. Number 2, shut up. And number 3, ask what is true. If you do this over and over in your life, you will have peace. You will be in touch with your joy. You will be in touch with everything that God's source grace is giving to you, that's flowing through you. Because you're sitting down, you're shutting up, and you're saying, maybe I don't know. What's true in the situation? And what's happening on a species level is that we are all being asked to sit down, shut up, and ask what's true. You see, my friends, if you've been doing this for a while, sitting down, shutting up, and asking if it's true, then this whole situation is not very hard for you. But if you haven't, we have created this so that we all do sit down, shut up, and ask what's true. That's what we're doing. That's very practical. I'm not going to go into what's the lesson here because you've got your own lesson, right? Very important. Very important. So allow yourself to be guided. You are being given this gift that is, because if you don't do it, then you will attract every single thing outside you to do it because that's the way the world works. That's the way energy works. This is the law of the law, spiritual law, one of the biggest spiritual laws. What you resist persists, and you will create what you defend against, and it will come to you as an individual or as a collective. And it's absolutely beautiful what's happening right now because we're in the collective. We're in the collective. All right? So remember those 3 steps. This is practically speaking. Listen, I have my window open. I am in 2 blocks from Times Square. It is quiet. No one's around. People are all inside. Everything is being asked for you to go inside. Go inside. You're being given a gift of time. And I know it's hard. Your human side is like, I need my friend. Listen, I'm all alone here. I haven't had, my neighbor I saw once. So I get it. But remember, you're being given this beautiful, precious gift. Sit down, shut up, ask what's true. Look at this time like you are going on that retreat that you've been wanting to do for years. All right? And even if you have kids or you're living with other people, you take the time right now to get away from the television, to get away from the stimulation. Go sit in your room 10 minutes a day, at least. Because the rewards of this is so beyond anything I can't even tell you. We're being given a huge gift right now. Okay, take a big deep breath. The other thing that I want to talk about briefly, and then we're going to open up to your questions and your comments, is I wanted to talk about, and listen, I don't know why these things come up. They just come up and I go, okay, well, this is what I'm going to talk about, and I just write it down. I want to talk about this idea of spiritual bravery versus worldly bravery. Okay? Because right now we can become, as Dan Millman said years ago, we can become peaceful warriors. And you can really become that because everything is right there for you to become a real spiritual warrior. It's kind of a dichotomy. I mean, what's the word I want to think of? I can't think of the word right now because I said dichotomy of terms, spiritual and warrior. But I want to talk about spiritual bravery versus worldly bravery. Okay? Spiritual bravery is very specific. Worldly bravery is very specific. And we're going to look at both of those just briefly right now. Because if anything today, I want something to make you go, oh my God, that's right. Right? So let's talk about this. I wrote some notes down. Worldly bravery is all about making sure you win. You win, right? So worldly bravery is making sure that you win. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's fighting someone else, or if it's fighting yourself, or it's fighting the world, it's fighting the planet, whatever. Worldly bravery dictates that you win. You wouldn't go into the fight, the war, unless you were going to win. Unless you were going to win, right? Let's take that back for just a second. So if you even perceive that there's a war that needs to be fought, you're already in the game. You're already in the game, meaning you're in the game of the ego. So in worldly bravery, you go in wanting to win. There's nothing wrong with winning. But there is something very wrong with winning. Because if you win, then someone what? Loses. Another part of worldly bravery is it has to have an element of blame. There has to be an element of blame in worldly bravery. That is wrong. Let's just take what's going on right now. The coronavirus is wrong. Hear me very clearly, everybody. I am not advocating that we all just get the coronavirus. But how we perceive everything is everything. So right now, we have to blame the coronavirus is the reason for our misery right now. And on a very superficial level, it is. But remember, friends, remember this. Anything that's outside in the world is the result of what's happening on the inside, individually and collectively. So you have to blame something. You got to win. They got theirs, so now I need to get mine. We need to get rid of that virus so we can all be healthy again, right? Take a deep breath, everyone. Another thing with worldly bravery is that many times it's based on vengeance, which comes back to one of the most important things that we have to be really, really aware of. Our need to be right, which is closely tied to our need to win. Our need to be right, our need to be right, our need to be right. So on some level, it's like, you wronged me, I'm gonna make myself right. The virus is wronging me, I'm vengeful, I'm gonna get it. I mean, even our incredible governor the other day said, we're gonna kick coronavirus's ass, which had a lot of energy and it was great. We're not here to judge anyone or anything, but just look at that. We're gonna get this thing. The world is constantly teaching you that worldly bravery is the way to go. I just watched 2 John Wick movies. You're like, really? You did? Yeah, it's a movie. All based on vengeance. Really violent. All of it based on vengeance. But if you can see that that's what's happening, instead of if you're not developed yourself, if you haven't sit down, shut up, and asked what's true, you're going to think, oh, that's the way to live in the world. That's the only way to live in the world. You're going to make sure they killed my mother, they killed my sister, they killed my dog. Now everyone dies. Vengeance, vengeance. That's the extreme. In the Course in Miracles, he says, even the most minor upset that you have, most minor vengeance that you have is the same as a huge one. Take a deep breath. One last thing I want to say about worldly bravery is it always has to do with me and mine. I win. My family wins. We survive. My country wins. We survive. Me and mine. Me and mine. Right? Hold on. I just want to hold on. This is boom, boom, boom. Okay. So let's move over to spiritual bravery. I'm going to wrap this up and then we're going to take your questions and your comments. Spiritual bravery is, from the Course in Miracles, he would say the thinking of man, worldly bravery, is 180 degrees away from the thinking of God. Spiritual bravery is the complete opposite, right? So this need to win is the complete opposite. There's no need to win because there's no fight. Because as soon as you create the fight, then there's a need to win. So there's no need to win. You've heard this before, and it's directly from the Course in Miracles. I'd rather be peaceful than be right. If there's any choice here, it's the choice to be peaceful. What are we talking about today? Finding peace in chaotic times. So, spiritual bravery looks for the peace. Doesn't look to be right, and it doesn't look to win, right? The second thing of spiritual bravery, and this is one of the, well, I mentioned it a little bit before from the Course in Miracles. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. This is very hard for a lot of us in certain situations. This is coming up right now for all of us. There's nowhere to defend. There's nothing to defend. It's germ in the air. But your defenselessness shows your real power. Because you never lost it, Dorothy. You never lost your power. You've always had your ruby slippers. They've never gone away. So why do you need to be fighting and defending against when you got the ruby slippers on your freaking feet? You have them. We all have them. It's called our connection to source, the truth of who we are. So in your defenselessness, your safety lies. When you're spiritually brave, you know that to be true. You don't have to fight against, right? This, of course, brings up things like, well, am I just a doormat and let people do things for me? That's individual basis. But this is the spiritual principle that we need to be looking at right now. The other thing a spiritual bravery does is it makes you, doesn't make you, first of all, you have choice. You have choice. It allows you to take full responsibility for your role in anything. Take full responsibility. You take full responsibility because on the other side, the worldly bravery, many times it's coming from a place, I'm the victim. I'm the victim, and now I have to make them change because I'm the victim. Spiritual bravery is like, I get it. I screwed up. Or I misperceived something. You take responsibility. And I've said this a million times. I got it from my friend Michael Auger, who I adore. He says, change the word responsibility to your ability to respond. Your ability to respond. Now, really quickly, responding is not reacting. Because when you react, there's no thought process. It's just like Pavlov's dog, right? Most of the time in worldly bravery, you're like, they attack me, let me attack them. There's no response, it's only a reaction. So when you're spiritually brave, you take complete responsibility to respond in a way that feels more flow, that feels more grace, that feels more love, right? Another aspect of being spiritually brave, which can be really hard, is that no matter what's happening, no matter who's done what to you, no matter what virus is there or what cancer is there, is that you just love anyway. Take a deep breath. You just love anyway, no matter what's happening. People are losing their, you know what, which actually they're not doing. You just love anyway, right? When you take responsibility and you love anyway, guess what happens? Your priorities change. Your priorities of what's important, of what you're putting your attention to, what your time on, completely changes. I am sure that all of you right now, when this all started happening a few weeks ago, for New York a couple of weeks ago, when it really started happening, suddenly it was like nothing else is important. All that other stuff isn't important. And I told this in my class the other day. Listen, I'm a really political animal. I love politics because I think it's like a game, right? It's kind of like my sports in a way. It's just interesting to see how the ego's working all the time. Some people can't do that, and sometimes I can. But all of a sudden, I mean, we're at the height of the debates and all this other stuff, and it was like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All this stuff that we're so like, it's important. Of course it matters. Do not take me wrong, everybody. It's important that we are looking and seeing what's happening in the world. It's important. But when something like this happens, it's like, yeah, well, that'll take care of itself. It's not important, right? It's not important. So when you, speaking of politics, when you're spiritually brave, you just love your enemy anyway. You just love your enemy. This is all sounding familiar to you. This is all sounding familiar because it's all the stuff you already know. But listen, words do not teach. Words do not teach. I've been a teacher for a long time. I could say words 50 million times to you, but it doesn't matter. But the experience will teach you. And right now, we are so incredibly grateful and appreciative that the situation has put us into an experience where we have to do it. Take a deep breath. Last thing with spiritual bravery, when we go to your comments and your questions, is that spiritual bravery is always we, not me. I mean, you've heard this before. You've heard this before. And everything that I'm talking about right now is based on the separation. Based on separation. We somehow believe that, from the Course in Miracles point of view, it says the separation between God and man, the perceived separation, big word there, the perceived perception between God and man happened when man forgot to laugh. Because only love is real. So if there's anything right now, you need to laugh. All right, take a big deep breath. Okay. All right, friends. Good. So you can use the Q&A section. You can hit the little Q&A. And I actually would like to hear from you. I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to look at the answers, okay? First, just to get things going. What, all of you that are here, what do you feel like is your biggest thing that you're learning right now? It doesn't have to be life-changing. What do you think that you're learning right now? You can put the answer in the Q&A. Instead of putting an answer, just put a question because it's easier, and then we'll get to see it. So what, I could have done a poll, but I didn't. But you can put in the Q&A, what is the biggest thing you think that you are learning right now? And I'll wait. Lori. Oh, everyone's using the, oh, you're using the chat. Hold on. Not the Q&A. Wait, I gotta change something. Hold on, everybody. Okay, we'll just use the chat then. Hold on. It's a whole other screen. There it is. Okay. Lori's learning trust. Steph is learning, I am learning that I am at peace. Wow. Casey is, my love has no capacity. I don't know if that's the right, is that the right word? Artie is saying self-care. It's great to see you, everybody. Yes, trust. Sarah says it's okay to just be. That's right. Endless peace, says Steph. Very good. My love has no capacity. I'm not sure if that's the word that you want to use. It's endless. And stopping ricks. Stopping rocks. Stopping does rock. Why do I say it all the time? Why do I say it all the time? What I think is just a hoot for me as your teacher is that I really see that everyone's having to do what we've been talking about for so long. Thumb is fat. There is a question here. Hi, Michelle. Michelle says, in a big way, trust. Yes, very good. Thank you. Good, 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 good. I see it all. I got all the, now I got all of it open. Great. Wait. Hold on. Move. Oh, Castine, good to see you. All right. Anything else? Lots of out daily thoughts that were illusions. Trust, in a big way, trust. I'm seeing that. Be present. It's happening all over. I love it. It's a daily thoughts that were illusions. Oh my gosh. Castine, that is really true. That's really true. Because you, listen, you're going to start to see half the shit, excuse me, half the stuff flying through my brain, at least half, are meaningless. They're meaningless, right? I love it. Good. Take a big deep breath. All right. So now we'll open it up to people that are having any challenges. These are great, everybody, and thank you for coming. Having any challenges that you want to bring up, that you want to share, that I can help you, or the group can help you. So let's just wait for that. And I have one really great, wonderful quote that we're going to read at the end. We're going to say a prayer. So I'll just wait for that because I think that there's a lot. We're all going through different things. There's nothing wrong. Listen, just, you know this to be true. Everything you're going through is exactly right, and there's no wrong or there's no right. So don't worry about it. You could say, I'm going to lose my mind. That's okay. Is there anything that you want to say or you want to ask? Any guidance that I can give you? It could be really practical. I don't care. No. Also, the illusion of death and watching the fear that is causing. That's a big one, Michelle. That's a big one. Obviously, it's a big one. Michelle has been a Course in Miracles student. A lot of you have been Course in Miracles students for a long time. Steph says, I love that I know where to find everyone. That's really good too. Wanting to make sure that everything's okay, Autumn says, constant need for control, realizing you have zero control. Autumn, you just answered your own question. So when the need for control, hold on one second. When the need for control comes up, just go. This is what I do. I go, yeah, you're right. You're kidding, right? I've got no control. I have no idea what's going to happen. All right, that's it. One of the highest spiritual places, I kind of mentioned this before, is to be as I don't know, and I have no control. Control is an illusion. Very good. Very good, Autumn. Artie says my age, all these years of hand washing. Yeah, I know. I know. I have great lotion. I have great lotion. Love it. Anyone else want to say anything? No? Yes? No? I love you. Okay, we're going to read. I want to read one last thing and then we're going to say a prayer, unless there's anything you want to say. Okay. All right, friends. Listen. Don't leave yet. Please don't leave because I have something to say at the end. Okay. This is another section from the course that I opened up. It was the second one. I was like, it's always perfect. It's always perfect. So everyone just take a deep breath, listen to this, and then we'll go into prayer. In shining peace within you is perfect purity in which you were created. Fear not to look upon the lovely truth in you. Look through the cloud of guilt that dims your vision and look past darkness to the holy place where you will see the light. I'm going to say it one more time because it's so beautiful. In shining peace within you is the perfect purity in which you were created. Fear not to look upon the lovely truth in you. That's important. Fear not to look upon the lovely truth in you. Look through the cloud of guilt that dims your vision and look past darkness to the holy place where you will see the light. Take a deep breath. Dear Mother, Father, God, Divine Source, Universe, all that is. Thank you so much for this time together. Thank you so much for all of your love. And everyone's here, all of your beautiful souls, your participation, and your willingness to stop. We ask, dear Lord, that we go into these next few days a little softer, a little more joyful, and a little bit more clarity rather than confusion. And we ask, dear God, in this moment, that anyone on the planet that is going through fear, that is going through turbulation, that's going through confusion, and going through physical death, that they be surrounded with love, with light, with joy, and with peace of God and grace of the soul. We ask, dear God, that the planet allow itself to heal itself through the grace of Source, of Divine, and God. And we take a deep breath. And together we say, thank you very much. And so it is. Amen. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm just going to do one thing. If you feel like you would make a would like to make a donation for the work today, I'm going to put the link there. You can make a donation if you would like to. Don't have to. It's right there. It's paypal.me/Max Ryan Coach if you'd like to make a donation. The other thing is I may do more of these on Sundays. If you would like that. Listen, we're doing meditations Monday through Fridays. We're doing a lot of things on Instagram. Make sure, yeah, it's kind of crazy. On Instagram. Thank you, Michelle. It's great to see you. Instagram every Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. We're meditating. I'm on Periscope at 8. I know it's really early for West Coasters, but you know. But I might do something on Sundays. I'm not sure. So if you need anything at all, please let me know. And that's it. Do you have any questions or anything you want to say before we wrap up? I'm going to close this.